Hello, gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Our guest today is Paqui Kelly. Paqui is a two-time breast cancer survivor, co-founder and board president of the Kelly Cares Foundation, and wife of Notre Dame football head coach Brian Kelly. And she is a tireless advocate for health and wellness. One of 6 daughters, Paqui was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2002 and again in 2007. After her second battle with cancer, Paqui and her husband Brian Kelly formed the Kelly Cares Foundation in 2008. While the foundation has a strong focus on breast cancer, it also advocates for education and community initiatives. To date, the foundation has distributed over $5 million to over 200 organizations and causes in 4 countries. A champion for communities, Paqui was named the 2017 Woman of Hope by the Bridge of Hope and the 2019 Exemplar Award by the Notre Dame Club of the Mid-Hudson Valley. Hi, Paqui, and welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking time out and for being a guest on our program. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, I'm so glad to be invited and had the opportunity to play in the golf outing last week and really enjoyed that as well.
Well, thank you so much. We kept missing each other. I was down on the course for a while, and then, they put me up in that big boom, which I didn't go very high.
Yeah.
It made me a little nervous. I thought the company that ran the boom was going to stay there. And when the golf pro said he'll take me up, I thought, your area is golf. Maybe this boom thing isn't the right thing for you. But
I know when I saw you up there, I said, I'm glad that's her, not me. That's what I thought.
Well, like I said, I got a little freaked out. They took it up off the ground, and I'm like, okay, that's good. I think we can get a good shot from here to throw those golf balls out. So, so it's good. But thank you. Yeah, that was awesome to have you there. Thank you so much. So I'm so excited. I want to hear all about Kelly Cares Foundation, but I really, in the beginning, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk a little bit about your cancer diagnosis because, you are an inspiration. The fact that cancer touches, in 2017, it was over 800,000 women in the United States. And that didn't include the women that were diagnosed the year before. But the fact that your second battle was in 2007, and here you are 12 years later, that's an inspiration to me. And people need to hear that story because there are a lot of women that are experiencing the same things that you went through. And you can let them know, hey, it gets better. And, you get to go on and life does return to some sense of normalcy. Yep. So I want to know more about your cancer diagnosis. So how did you first discover that you had breast cancer?
So really, mine was kind of a backdoor discovery because my OBGYN, I had my last kid when I was 36, and I was a teacher at the time, and always scheduled my checkups, my annual checkups, like in the summer or Christmas break kind of thing. And he said, if you're done having kids, I would love you to have a mammogram before you're 40. And so it wasn't really anything pressing because at that point I'm only 36, right? And
right.
I said, okay. So, but I went ahead and, that was like in August. So I waited till December to schedule it so I wasn't missing any school. And so I go in there, and unfortunately, they find 2 very small cysts. And I'm like, don't meet any criteria to be even an at-risk cancer relative to my family history at that time.
Wow.
And so, don't worry about it kind of thing. And so we move forward, and he goes, if you think it's getting bigger, but we'll check in 6 months, Okay. They just thought it was, regular little cyst, not to be concerned. Okay, well, 4 months go by, and of course, like I'm a mom with 3 kids under the age of 5, and I say, yeah, I think it's getting bigger. So we get it checked out, and Brian and I just made a decision, like, why don't we just take it out, and then we just stop worrying about it, right?
Right.
It really, we did a lumpectomy with our general practitioner, and it wasn't until the biopsy came back that I became a cancer patient.
Wow.
So in your head, like, oh, I'm just not going to worry about it anymore. It's out, everything's good, rock and roll. And then 2 weeks later, I think whatever it was, 10 days later, it wasn't so much that story, and then my journey began.
Wow.
So then another set of clean the margins kind of surgery, and then the chemo and radiation followed after that.
Wow. And then, so at that time you had 3 children under the age of 5?
Yep.
And so how did you tell the kids then that you had cancer?
I'm going to be honest with you. Brian and I we only had one kid he was in kindergarten, our oldest, and we decided not even to use the word cancer. And the reason is we were afraid he might get misunderstand, like, if they got grandkids, there's other kids that are 5 and who are grandparents that are passing away from cancer. If they just heard the cancer, he was going to be worried that I was going to be gone, so we were trying to alleviate that whole stress. And we caught it first stage. So, we really felt, we just told them I was going to take some medicine and my hair was going to fall out. And that's really all they kind of could understand at that juncture anyway. Right.
Right.
So,
Right.
They just kind of, it was probably of all the kids, he remembers the most of that because he was older. And, I just, told him I'll wear a wig if you want me to at school if it bothers you. But he didn't really care. I just wore hats a lot.
Well, and that's what we found too.
Period.
Finding whatever looked normal to him. That's what he needed. Was he needed to see you that you looked normal. So tell me about the people. That's right. That it's going to be okay. That's exactly right. That's what he needed. That's what he needed to hear. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know about the people that you surrounded yourself with during your breast cancer journey. Did you have a lot of friends? Were you close to family during that time?
I was about 90 miles. I'll tell this story. So, we were in Grand Rapids or Allendale when we were at Grand Valley at that time. And Brian, we had been there for some amount of time at that point, probably 10 years or so, 15 years being in that community. And we had, well-established friends and groups of, support and whatnot. And they came out of the woodwork for us. And as well as, my teaching group. I mean, we had people from Muskegon bringing food over to us, which was about a 35-minute drive.
Wow.
And I'm like, we couldn't even begin to employ have everybody help us that wanted to help us. And so, that in itself is a blessing. And my sisters, they're, like I said, they're an hour and a half away. And I said, she's like, I just don't feel like we're doing anything to help. And I said, well, see, that's the thing. If you're helping me, then my, those are the people I was going to have to call if I had to get hospitalized after, during treatment for chemo. Some people's white blood, you get cold or sick.
That's right.
And you're in the hospital for 5-10 days. You just don't know. So
right.
So let's just pray that we don't really have to engage you to come up to help me, because that's what I kind of told her. I said, you're doing just what I need you to do.
That's right.
And so. But it, knock on wood, when I got it the second time, we were actually further away. We were in Cincinnati, and those same sisters ended up coming in, and I also had a double mastectomy at that juncture, and they came and stayed during their spring breaks and helped me get my kids through their spring breaks, for a stint of 3 weeks, between my sisters and my parents, helping out, staying at the house while I healed from that.
Right. And so with that second cancer diagnosis, did you ever ask why me?
You know what? I think I'm a unique story in the fact that, so I went from being an anomaly because it really wasn't running in our family. And I'm the fourth of the kids, so you would have thought it would have shown up before, although the first 5 of us are within 5 years of each other. And I think the reason it kind of was I would probably be deemed the healthiest at that juncture. Still in good shape, exercising and whatnot. Don't smoke, don't drink. And, like I said, no big markers to say, so that even the doctor's like, wow, I don't know what you're doing in here at 37. We don't know either, but we want to get it out of here, right? And
that's right.
So, Brian and I kind of hoped to check the box, we're done. And then I think it was in 2000. So I was diagnosed in 2003, and so my sister, who's 2 years older than, or 3 years older than me, was diagnosed in 2005.
Oh,
so
wow.
Basically now I have a direct person who's got it, and she's at that point 41, and I go from being, anomaly of 80 or 96% cured to probably an 85% chance that I'm going to get it again before a 5-year marker, because once she was tested for like the BRCA gene, then not the big surprise when I got tested, I was already had cancer once, and it wasn't a shock to say that that's why I probably had it at such an early age.
Wow.
So, I was a really high risk for getting it again. But, at that point, my youngest kid had only seen me being sick and healing, if you will. So I said to Brian, I said, I'm not ready I just got done with chemo. My body's just getting back from all of that. And I said, there's the statistics then were an 85% chance that I would get it before my 5-year marker. And I said, I'm going to go to my 5-year marker. If I don't make my 5-year marker, it's a really easy decision. And you know what? I didn't make my 5-year marker. Right. So as a patient, I know you want to say, I want to check the box. I don't want to walk away from this disease, but with the high risk that I was, and, I was getting checked every 6 months, either an MRI or a mammogram. And the type of cancers that I got were 2 different types of breast cancers, which, knock on wood, that's not a reoccurrence. It's 2 different types.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
One was hormone positive, and the first one was not hormone positive, and the second one was. So that was good news. But they're very fast developing cancers that I get, So I had a checkup in March. And by the time I checked in with my new doctor in 2007 down in September in Cincinnati, I was back in the saddle for being a cancer patient again. So,
wow.
My very first visit with her, she's like, I already know. I know what that looks like. She was a great doctor. And, that's hard to meet your first patient the first time and have to tell them they got cancer again.
That's right.
But, they had great care and great, even though I was in a new place, again, those things come out. I would kind of sometimes tell the story as God gave it to me twice because I wasn't moving fast enough to get, involved, so once I got healed again, and took care of my health and, by that time we're ready, I'm feeling better. It took a little bit more to recover from a double mastectomy, obviously, but, we were just getting up and running. And then, Brian took a job here in South Bend at Notre Dame, and it seems like then it was like, oh yeah, we'll get all these kids up there and get the houses to do that, all that transition, and really kind of kick it off, because we had started the paperwork in 2008, and then I got sick. So it kind of was put on hold for about 18 months until we really kind of, as we were transitioning up here, said that that was probably what was supposed to happen.
Wow. And so what did you have to tell yourself to get through it a second time? What was there a mantra or something that you had that you just kept telling yourself?
My mantra would be the same as what I share when I share my story, is that if someone who is relatively healthy is able to get breast cancer, and the reality is, I'm going to be honest with you, if I would have waited till I was 40, I probably wouldn't be here.
Right, exactly.
The type of cancers and that would have been an easy thing to do, because at 36, 37 with 3 kids under the age of 5, my proponent is, do what you need to do to take care of you and your family. Mm-hmm. And you being around is important, is what I tell people.
That's right.
The mom.
That's right.
I said,
that's right.
If I would have waited, my diagnosis wouldn't have been first stage. You know what I mean? It would. And honestly, did I have to do chemo and radiation the first time? No, but the difference would have, if you're a mother of, 3 kids under 5, that was the difference between being 80% cured and 96% cured. I'll take that 16%.
That's right.
Those are the decisions people need to make and the information they need to get. And then, did I want to get it again? No, but, I think for me, the writing was on the wall. And it actually, I didn't feel bad about the second. I didn't want to have to go through it again, but the reality is, it really confirmed to me that the numbers and the statistics that they're giving me and to make decisions on are pretty accurate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not just a number in a book, and this is the numbers. And it's like, you know what, you said I wouldn't make 5 years, and I missed it by 3 months. So
that's right. That's right.
I share that with people. It's like, all of these things, people, if I'm 79 and they want to have me do that, that's one, those decisions and age and your lifestyle make a big difference on your decision on what you decide to do as far as treatment too. So
that's right.